In my review of budget AR-15s, I was just watching some videos and I really never knew what a binary trigger or a forced reset trigger was. I do remember back when they were getting ready to ban polymer 80 kits, this was a big deal. These binary triggers or forced reset. I'm not quite sure what, the terminology, but I'm learning. I'm getting some information. And I remember the ATF would show up and tell you, hand them over. Okay. So now that they cleared this up, they cleared up that bump stocks are illegal. These triggers are, through a court decision or not, machine guns, or convert your gun to a machine gun. We can have pistol braces again and bump stocks and all that other stuff. So while I'm reviewing the budget guns, I said, let me look into this. And there is a budget system, a forced reset trigger called the Super Safe trigger. And I was saying, you know what, since I'm doing these budget guns, let me review the Super Safe style trigger. Because these forced reset triggers, they come in two flavors. You got Super Safe, which is simpler, and then you got fancy models that, use your AR style selector switch, and those start somewhere at 550, units, 5.5, and then go up. Some of them 7 to 800. So when you're paying just under 400 units for a gun, sticking an accessory in there for 600 units is not there. Alright, so if you're interested in one of these things, and if you look at any of the descriptions for it, they tell you that there are two things that you need, okay, or none of these devices will work. You need a full auto bolt carrier, and I will show you. I just went through my whole AR collection and looked at these 2 points. You will need a full AR bolt carrier, and I have one each, a semi-auto and a full auto. And you will also have to know what the shelf space, in other words, a distance from the top of your lower to where the rear part of your receiver is machined out. That's called the shelf in there. It's right behind the safety. And we'll also go over that. I cannot give you like the exact dimension. That may violate YouTube policy, or the ATF does not like it when you give the critical dimensions out on an AR-15. Okay, they don't like that. So what we're going to do, I brought my collection out. We're going to look at my collection. I'm going to show you what I have, and then we're going to go, and I have examples of what we're talking about, and we'll go over it. And then you can decide if you can go on, because going out, and even if you buy an inexpensive one for $150, okay, to find that you can't use it the way that your rifle is set up is a problem. So that's what we're going to discuss in this video today. We have a whole bunch of guns lined up here, and what we have is the we have the Radical Firearms in our budget AR. We have the IC Corporation one. Those are the two I have. We do have an Anderson showing up because the deal was too good to pass. Now this is my personal one, and I like building them. And this is the one that has that FN made barrel that's made with the same chrome lining into the standard as the saw. And what I do is I always build a nice heavy barrel chrome line gun, And then when the prices go insane into the 1K level and that, I'd sell them or liquidate them. I'm sorry. I would liquidate them and then just put together another one. This here is my AR-47 in 7.62 by 39. This is my other gun in the 6.8 Remington Special Purpose cartridge, very similar. And then this is the one that I put together in the 6.5 Grendel. And as all my custom builds, I always put a weird flash suppressor on there to know it's something I did. Now, we have two rifles here. This was a parts kit built, or a build kit from Sarco, and this was done a long time ago. Okay, and this one is going to have issues, and this is an actual Colt H-bar made in the late 80s, just before the dark days of the ban. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put back all my stuff, because what I've done is I've checked each and every single one of these rifles for what type of bolt carrier and also the shelf on the receiver, and I'll show you where to measure it, but I really can't give you that dimension, okay? But I'll show you what I'm talking about with it. Here, let me get stuff put up, and it'll involve, we're just going to involve 3 guns here. Here we have the 3 different bolt carriers. Now, all of the guns, except that A2 style, Sarco build, and the Colt H-bar, all of these other firearms have what is called a full auto bolt carrier. And what does that mean? And the easy way to see it, if you look at this part here on the bolt carrier, okay, and you see your little marks for your forward assist. If your bolt carrier has a section here and it's still got the little forward assist marks, then that's one easy visual way to tell you have a bolt carrier. This will work with a force reset trigger. Now, during the ban and everything, things got crazy. Colt was sued for putting, they said, M16 parts in a civilian gun, and there were methods which are illegal to put some sort of device or modify the trigger to make the gun selective fire. So in order to thwart that, this here is a semi-auto trigger, or semi-automatic bolt carrier. And if you notice the difference, this is shorter. You see your lines for the forward assist, and this is shorter than that. Okay. Side by side. That's the difference. Full auto on the top, semi-auto on the bottom. Okay. And like I said, Colt was sued over this. So out of the Colt, they just machined the whole back end of the carrier off. This looks like about the same distance as a full auto. They just machined off the back, and that's how they ship their guns after that certain point. I don't know if they still do that, but that's what they did back in the 80s. And another way to tell, look through the thing, and if it's equal distance, and this one here, you see, it's not. So that's another easy way to tell. I think the only reason they made them was from the assault weapons ban. That was an odd bolt. All the other ones that I did the builds have been this. I don't think anyone cares anymore. They're all probably, anything you've gotten recently should be a Carrier, these modified ones. I don't think they even, I don't know if they make them. Maybe they do. Maybe some companies still do that. But that's your bulk difference. Now, we'll talk about the shelf. Alright, we're going to talk about the other thing they say, the shelf, high or low shelf. What that is the distance from this top part of the receiver down to the bottom of this pocket. And hopefully I'm getting enough light in here to where you can see. That's where that weird measurement comes in, and if you get some dial calipers, it's pretty easy to find out. Now most of these, this is the ACI, I believe are good, okay? All the Anderson receivers are good. Now the only thing I've seen that was strange, this Radical Firearms has like some extra space cut out of it where most of the other ones do not, okay? So I don't know why, but that's kind of how it goes. So that's the Radical Firearms, and all of the ones I have, I believe the shelf is good. Now Colt, and again we have an issue. Colt did something totally different. Let's see if I can get this around here. What Colt did with their receivers is they actually installed a block. And after, you know, these were probably already in production, then afterwards you will find receivers where, other than a hole for your pin, that where this block is in here would not be machined out. They'd give you just enough room to clear the hammer, and they would not machine the shelf out. So that's what they call the high shelf. Okay, you may have a gun that was made during then that would impede one of these forced resets from working. Okay. So I hope this video gives you the information that you need to make your mind up if you want to do that, or to tell, you know, how you can tell if your gun can handle the addition of this accessory without any modification. Also, the other thing I forgot to mention is you probably may have to replace your buffer with a heavier buffer, like an H2 or an H3. I got an H3 in one of the guns, so I could probably get away with using that. So that's the start of it, and we'll take a look at a couple. I got a couple units coming. We'll take a look at them, you know, some of these assemblies. It's not that difficult. If you've ever built an AR or something, it's simple as you know, to do it. There's a lot of instructional videos. Do your own research. Take the time to look and go to different places and check this out. Because like I said, them drop-in whole assembly packages, them things are expensive. They're over 500 units and up, you know. And then, is it practical to even do this? Spending the money to do this crazy stuff? That's another question. But anyway, this is the start. We'll take it from there. The next up, I'm going to show you some of the items that I got, and then we'll maybe go and install them. Alright, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.